Hey, welcome to Get Into It with Tammy Roman. I really love that intro. I feel like I need to be two-stepping at the barbecue. What's up, soulmates? How you doing? Thank you for tuning in tonight. I've got a very special show for you lined up. My guest tonight is relationship guru, Nephew Tommy from the hit show Ready to Love on the OWN network. Now we're going to get into some relationship talk. And a little later, I'm going to answer your personal questions in my Ask Tammy segment. That's where you give me the opportunity to give you advice on your work drama, your family drama, relationship issues, whatever's happening in your life. I will try to give you the advice that you need. So stay tuned for tonight's Ask Tammy segment. And of course, we always close out our show with the Power Minute, and that's coming up with some words to uplift your spirits. But first, it's messy time, baby. Unpopular opinion. All right, soulmates, let's get into it with your girl, okay? So now, child, before I even sip this tea, let me just say that I respect loyalty because I am a loyal woman myself. But baby, when I saw that Khloe Kardashian sent a cease and desist order to a woman that is, I can't say claiming, right? Because, so we'll use the word accusing Tristan Thompson, AKA Khloe's baby daddy, of fathering her child. Now, this is what I like to call a united front. She done sent a whole cease and desist order to tell this woman to stop saying that Tristan is the father of your child. Now, I want to remind y'all really quickly. A woman by the name of Kimberly Alexander accused Tristan of fathering her baby and publicly calling him a deadbeat dad. Now, Tristan has already taken a DNA test, which showed that he was not the father, and he is currently suing Kimberly for defamation. But now Kimberly done came back and said, the first test was done at Kardashian-affiliated facilities. And you expect me to believe that the in-home test that he took was accurate? Who you think is a fool around here? Not me, Kimberly. Who said that? Who said that? Who said that? Kimberly said, child, until we get a DNA test at a non-biased facility, he the father of my kid, okay? He is the baby daddy. And the Kardashians are known for sweeping things under the rug, right? They are known for getting rid of scandal, child. So she said, my son isn't something that you can sweep under the rug, Khloe. I'm not going to let you do that. So we're going to have to wait, y'all. We're going to have to wait, soulmates, okay? Because get into this. It appears that Kimberly, because this story is deep, like this was going on the blogs all week, right? So it appears that Kimberly sent herself a message to make it look like Khloe has been reaching out to her. And Khloe came back and said, child, I never reached out to you. Showed us, by us, I mean all of us on the blogs, her receipts where she has Kimberly blocked and had the attorney send that cease and desist immediately, okay? Immediately to Kimberly. But Kimberly allegedly admitted that she didn't make the fake post and that her account had been hacked and that it wasn't her. And the only thing that she wants is for her child to be able to take a test at a non-biased facility so that they can get to the truth and get to the bottom of things. Kimberly went on to say Tristan Thompson is a scumbag womanizer, which everyone knows, right? And I am 100% sure he is the father of my son. What is a mother supposed to do after a year of no answers and no response? One in-home test has been done and you think it's the end? No way. So what I can say is this, soulmates, this is not going to go away anytime soon, okay? We're going to be hearing this story for at least another 4 months. So through Hot Girl Summer, through the hottie summer, we're going to be hearing about this because Kimberly's not giving up. She wants the world to know that Tristan is the father of her child. She wants proper testing to be taken, and she wants her child support. Okay? That's what this is all about. She had wanted her child support for this baby. So she got to prove that Tristan is the father. So it's not going away. You can send all the cease and desist you want, but until we get this test from a facility that Kimberly done chose, we're going to be hearing about this. So don't know if you care or not, but be prepared. Okay, remember you heard it here first. This is going on for 2-3 months. Next subject. Little Mr. Ice Davis is verified on the gram, y'all. Now, I know some grown folks that can't get that blue check as quick as Lil Ice got his. But in a recent interview with Billboard, rapper Gucci Mane told the reporter that he is enjoying fatherhood and that he feels like a first-time father. Now, the media didn't receive his comment too well. Now, I'm assuming it has everything to do with Keisha and Gucci already having a firstborn son prior to Ice Davis being born. But in Gucci's defense, he also said that it was a disconnect in his relationship with the mother of his firstborn child. This time around, with his wife, he was able to be present for everything. Y'all know how it is, doctor's appointments, the baby growing and kicking, you know, all that type of stuff. He was able to experience that. Now, Lil Ice is adorable and I wish them all the best, but you guys, soulmates, do you think Gucci should have come under scrutiny for saying that? I personally do not. I completely understand. There is a difference when you are present and available through the entire process of having a child. There is the doctor's appointments. There is the morning sickness. There is the feeling of the baby kicking. There is the mother's mood swings. There's all of this stuff that men, when they are present and available, get the opportunity to witness firsthand, which is completely different than you going to pick up your son every Sunday at noon. Okay? That's a different moment. So, Gucci, I understood what you said. What I'd like to add to it is because you've had this experience and it's been so pleasurable and enjoyable to you, and you know how important it is to be a part of Ice's life. You've now connected with your child. I want to encourage you to do that with all your children. Even if you haven't been as present as you should have in the past, go back because children need their fathers. You can always start today to develop the same type of relationship that you have with Ice with the other children in your life. First time father, I get it, but now let's be a lifelong father to all your kids. All right. Now, next up, the Shade Room recently revealed that Jada Cheeves has landed a role in the upcoming independent movie Bid for Love. I was so excited when I saw this story on the Shade Room because, you know, I got a little something in the movie too. Okay. But some of the commenters had some things to say about the movie, like this looks straight to DVD, and this looks like we talking low budget. This feels like a romance novel, bad book cover. Like, you guys had a lot of negative things to say when this post went up. To that, I say this. This is what annoys me about the Black community. Here you have independent filmmakers who have figured out a way to get their project made. And within that process, they have reached out, auditioned, and or casted actors that they have wanted to be in business with. And were able to pay people what they were supposed to get paid. You guys would rather, I wanted to say I'm trying not to say it, but I feel like I want to say it. Y'all want to on this project, okay? Rather than uplift it and uplift the process of these Black filmmakers being able to bring their project to fruition. And I think it's sad because this is what the Black community does. Jada is an influencer who is transitioning into the acting world. She auditioned for a role and she got it in this movie. That is something that should be celebrated, because let me tell you what I do know. One thing and two things for sure. It is hard to get your projects made, and ain't nobody giving us nothing. So these females that wrote, produced, and brought this project to fruition, it's unfortunate that you look at the post and want to downplay it and dog it instead of uplifting it. How else are we going to get our stories made? How else are our stories going to be told when the corporate structure is not affording us the proper opportunities to get Black content out there? So people are going out there and making a way out of no way. And y'all, this is the approach that y'all take. I was highly offended on behalf of myself, the producers of this movie, and Jada. Commend this young lady, because I tell you what, if they had put up a notice saying that they was auditioning, half of y'all that was talking about how low budget it was would have auditioned and would have been excited if you got the role. And y'all do the same thing with Fox Soul, and that pisses me off. There's no other platform or format that is giving Black creators an opportunity to have talk shows and put their content out there. Y'all be, Fox Soul, what's that? Fox Soul, the place where Black creators, a Black president is giving people the opportunity to have a voice in the Black community. Do you see Blacks on daytime talk? Late night talk? We got Wendy Williams, half of y'all don't like her, and we got Tamron Hall, and half of y'all ain't watching her. But when you have a place where you can come and see valuable, creative, informative content, y'all even talk about that. Black community, you've got to get it together. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. You've got to get it together, because I'm tired. Y'all have really annoyed me. And I know it started with me talking about Jada, but it's a bigger moment. You got to support the things that we are putting out there. It doesn't cost you anything to sit up and watch what people are putting out there for you, that is for the culture, that pertains to you, your issues, your lifestyle, things that you care about. Instead of frowning up your nose, you need to be streaming, viewing on the YouTube channel, posting about it, getting everybody to watch it, because they're doing it for you. Ooh. Okay, child. I had to get that off my chest. You done worked me up. Let me check my pressure. Okay, I'm good. Listen here. They was talking about the BBLs out in the streets. The man from Botched, Dr. Terry Dubrow, he recently spoke with TMZ about the famous and very popular cosmetic surgery called the BBL, short for Brazilian butt lift. He said in his medical profession and opinion, okay, his medical and professional opinion, it is the most dangerous type of plastic surgery, and it is the most fatal one. So to be clear, the Brazilian butt lift is the procedure where fat is removed from various parts of the body and then re-injected back into the buttocks. According to various medical journals, 1 in 3,000 surgeries result in death, making it the most dangerous cosmetic procedure yet. In spite of that, the BBL is becoming the most popular request. Soulmates, why do you think so many people are willing to risk this chance to change their bodies? I hate to say it, okay, but social media, y'all so busy trying to compare yourselves to the fakeness that's on Instagram, okay? Because there was a time nobody wanted these big asses and all these hips. Nobody wanted that. And now people are injecting it and getting it done. And y'all look out and you see that, and you see that you got 2,000 followers and they got 2 million followers, and you think it's because of this body altering surgery. I'm here to tell you, just like K. Michelle has told you, it is dangerous. Dr. Dubrow, a medical professional, has told you it is dangerous, ladies. Stop doing things because you see people on the gram doing them. Be happy with what God has given you. And yes, this is coming from somebody who got her ass done. And every time I try to fit a size 6 pant and know I got to go get a 12 because I done put too much ass in, I get mad. So I'm telling you now, be happy with what God has blessed you with, and stop doing things because you see other people doing them, or you think it's lit, or you think it's hot, or you think it's going to increase your engagement and your social activity. It's killing people out here, ladies. It's killing people. And you need to be aware and cognizant of that. Now, with everything, there's a risk. I openly acknowledge that, but people are electing to do this, and you don't have to. Oh my goodness, unpopular opinion was lit this week. It was lit this week. All right, we're gonna get into today's topic in a minute, but I gotta take a break because let me tell you something, my heart's still beating fast. Talking to y'all, Black peoples. I was talking to you, and so I got to go get me something to drink and calm down. But I'm going to be back. I'm going to be back talking again right after the break, because this is Getting To It with Tammy Roman. And you are where? Say it with me. Foxhole. Back to Get Into It with Tammy Roman. Listen, this next guest I'm excited to have here, I've listened to this man pretty much my entire life. Please welcome Nephew Tommy to the show.
Tammy, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. You know, I make a joke about it, but like your voice has been a part of my life. Most of my adult life, really.
I'm grateful. Grateful.
So how's life been treating you?
Life is good. You know, I can't complain. I got a hit TV show that's hitting home runs right now. I'm on a radio show that's been hitting home runs for years. Yes. I'm selling out comedy clubs around the country. So come on, I can't complain.
Well, how are you juggling everything? I mean, because you just said it, comedian, radio show, your own show on OWN, actor. Like, how are you doing all this?
You know what? I'm just taking it little by little. I think COVID slowed me down enough to kind of like catch my breath. But now, you know, we're everything is opening back up, and I'm back. I just jumped right back into the club, and I'm gonna tell you something. I will never go that long again without being on stage. That year and some change that did me, man. Don't get me wrong. We wrote a lot of stuff, yes, which was good. You got a lot of new material.
Yes,
but
yes.
That drought of not being on there using that muscle, I didn't like that.
Let me tell you something, Tommy. I have so much respect for y'all comedians. And, you know, like I do this thing on Instagram called Bonnet Chronicles. And so, you know, it's funny to some people. So comedy clubs started inviting me to come out.
Right.
So I put together, you know, a little set to host and everything. I used to have the bubble guts. Man, I was like, oh my God, I don't know. I can't remember the material. Like, I used to freak out. I said, please don't call me a comedian. That is, I tell stories. They might be funny to somebody. It may not be funny right to somebody else. But comedians, they have earned that title.
Yeah. You got to go do it. And this is not a team type of sport. There's nobody to pass it off to, baby. You got to go in there and get it. You got to stand flat-footed and deliver.
Yes. I said, oh my God, I don't know. And they keep asking me to come back out on the road. And I was like, child, and COVID made me think about it, because I was like, not what? A check ain't came in for a year. I might need to get around there and take people offer. But I couldn't do it. I respect y'all so much.
But you know what? Your personality is so sweet. You can get up there and handle it. You can hold a crowd, girl. You can do that.
I did okay. I did do okay. And you know, we sold out all the 10 cities that we went to every night.
That's good.
But the emotional anxiety.
I know. Let me tell you something. It's what's crazy about it is this. You're so nervous, but once you get up there, I'm good. It's the leading up to it that bothers you.
It's the lead up. And I couldn't take it. I said, it's too much pressure on me. Now, you and Steve Harvey have a long history.
Yeah.
What's it like working with Steve? And I hate to ask you this because you probably get asked this all the time, but Steve is a special individual.
Yes.
You know, so and I don't want anybody to misconstrue that. What I mean by that is he's very structured in his way of thought.
Yeah.
And then he's funny, and then he's very opinionated. And right. So what is that like being behind the scenes working with him?
You know what? It's kind of like a training camp, and you get to see some daredevil stuff that I would probably not do. Mm-hmm. But that's why people who are, that's why he is who he is. He takes the risk, but you get to learn. And sometimes God will put you in a position where you're able to just sit there and be a sponge and soak up good things, and soak up some good and some bad. Yes. But it's a learning process. But I think of what just being under that umbrella, what I've learned, Tammy, is the hustle that this brother got is so real. Yep. The hustle is so real, man. It's so I have picked up that energy where I got, now I want 2-3 more TV shows. You know what I mean? Like I got that drive now. So now I'm calling OWN and Discovery saying, hey, I got another show. Y'all need to check this one out.
That's right. I tell you, I did his show when he had the sitcom, the Steve Harvey Show, and I did a guest spot on there. And the best part of that show was not even working, on the set doing the lines, but the moments before. Yeah. Sitting in his dressing room, and he pulls out that cigar, and then we talked for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and he just dropped so much wisdom and knowledge on me about the business, like just how to maneuver through the business as a female.
Right.
And I always remember that. Like even to this day, I still implement some of the things and advice that he gave me. So he's a very
so you already know to get that to be able to get that on a daily basis. Yeah. I find myself just he say something so incredible sometimes. I was like, okay, let me text that to myself.
Right.
I can't forget this one.
Yes. Now, word on the curb is that you are really his nephew. Is that true?
That's the word, baby. All day, every day. All day, every day. Look,
so we'll you
see the resemblance?
I do. It's the head for me.
Yeah.
It's the head. Same shape head. So now let's talk about Nephew Tommy, because you're hosting the dating show Ready to Love on the OWN network. Right. Now, how did this happen?
Ooh, Tammy, you know what? You know how we've been in this Hollywood stuff for a minute. You know how people will say, hey, let's do lunch. Or, hey, I'll have my people call your people.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's all hoopla to me. I'm a country boy from Texas. So, when you tell me something, let's be real about it.
Be real about it. Mm-hmm.
But one time Will Packer told me, he said, hey man, I'm gonna have something for you. I'm like, yeah, okay. Whatever. I've heard this before. Man, he called me and told me he was gonna have two or three shows that were gonna be on the OWN network. Mm-hmm. He says one of them is called Ready to Love, and I want you to host it. And I say, Will, don't play with me. I thought it was a prank phone call. I really did. Do not play with me. This is not cool. And he was like, no, Tom, I want you, man. I dropped to my knees, Tammy. I cried so hard, girl. I couldn't believe it. And he said, the reason I want you to do this, he says, because you and your wife have been together for a very long time. He said, and let me tell you, that's unusual, brother. He said, and we had a conversation about my parents. My parents were married till my dad passed away in 2015, Wow. So when I don't know anything else when it comes to relationship. My mind is till death do us part.
Right.
So if you want to leave, then so one of us got to lay it down. You got to die to get out of here. So That's all I know. That's what my parents were, and that's what made him say, "This is the right person for this job." So we're in June now. In another week, me and my wife are celebrating 20 years of being married.
Hey, man. Hey,
20, girl.
She's a co-host on the show, right?
She's been guest starring and dropping here and there. So we'll see what happens next season. When I don't bring my baby a check, we'll drop her in some more.
I know that's right. I love what you said about Will, though, because I've worked with Will in many capacities, and I've auditioned for a lot of his projects. Right. But one thing about him is when he says something,
he does it.
Absolutely follows through. And so that's, like you said, that's a characteristic in Hollywood, right? That you don't see very often. Everybody's got something, everybody's doing something. Oh, I'm gonna look you up, I'm gonna holler at you, let's do lunch and all this stuff. And nobody ever really comes through. And Will, for me, I was at his office auditioning one time, and he said, "Hey, I got a project, and I want you, we're going to need some influencers, and I want you to, come on board and talk about the project." I said, "Well, you got that bread?" He said, "I got that bread." I said, "Okay." And I sat back and waited. And lo and behold, when the project hit, they reached out to me, and he made sure I got the money that I, said I needed. And so those people are rare gems. And so I said all that to say, it's a blessing to have someone like that in your corner as it pertains to your show, because they're going to fight for you and they're going to have your back at every turn. Now, Ready to Love is in its 4th season. Did you think it would be a hit when it started?
You know what? When we first started, Tammy, I didn't know what to think. I didn't know how, you just do something and throw it up against the wall and see if it's going to stick.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. And then the first season, people were like, "Wow, that was pretty good." Yeah. And then we kept rolling and kept rolling. And now, Tammy, we're in the middle of 4, and we're on our way to Washington, D.C. to do 5 and 6. That tells it all. But I did not know where this was going to go. And I'm not a person that has a degree in relationship. All I can do is share what I've been through, what I watched my parents go through, and just be real. I'm just being real with you about what you're trying to get to. You're trying to find love. I'm trying to help you. But if you come in here running game, I'm gonna call you out.
Right. And that's what we love about the show. I think we actually have a clip, so let's take a look.
It's your boy, Tommy Miles, and I'm back at it again.
Friday, April 2nd.
This season, I'm bringing the heat to my home. Well, I'll be helping 20 eligible singles find something real. And there's more than a few surprises along the way. For the first time in Ready to Love history, we're gonna find out if the lonely hearts of the Lone Star State are truly ready to love.
What was it like bringing the show here to Houston?
Oh my God! This is home, so I get to stick my chest out and show people across the country that haven't been to Houston. We get to show you that we are the 4th largest city. That we got some nice areas. We got some nice places. We got things that you ought to fly down here and hang out and get your groove on in Houston. So to bring it home, it just felt good. It felt refreshing, and to be able to, I feel like I brought Hollywood to Houston for a minute.
Yeah, and we need a Hollywood here because there's so much here. You know what I mean? But I know that things can get pretty wild and crazy on the show. What's the craziest thing you've seen happen on the show?
Tammy, one of my seasons. Oh my God.
Uh-oh.
One of my seasons. We just finished. We probably had finished, and we're probably a month later now, and my wife and I go to a viewing party. This is like the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Tammy, I see one of my contestants, and I'm looking at her. I'm like, "Yo," I said, "What's going on? You all right?" She was like, "Oh yeah, I'm good." I said, "Okay," and then she tells me, "Yeah, I'm 8 months pregnant." I said, but we just finished shooting a month ago. I was pregnant then. I was like, so you're pregnant? So you was on the show, pregnant, but didn't tell nobody. And then when I see you, you finally tell me, excuse me, and I'm floored. I can't believe it. So when we get to the reunion, we do the reunion. She's 9 months and expecting any moment now. She could have had the baby right there on my damn stage. Wow. That is the craziest thing that has ever happened. I hadn't seen nothing like that. One of my contestants is on a dating show and is pregnant and ain't told none of us.
Wow. And didn't want love with the baby father. She was like, I'm out here trying to find me some new stuff.
Another baby, a new baby dad.
Oh my God. Okay, we're going to get into some relationship topics because I need to pick your brain. But before we go to break, I heard that you're launching a grits company.
Girl, I got some grits, girl. We got to talk about these grits. I'm telling you.
Now, what's going on with the grits?
I got some grits. Listen, I've been playing with this for about 3 years now. And I collaborated with this guy. He makes seasoning. He's incredible. Yeah. Right here in Houston. And we started tripping with some grits. He said, I want you to try these grits. I said, okay. And he blew me away. So I said, okay, wait, let's do this and do this. So we went to playing chemist, and next thing you know, we have flavored grits. We have an original flavor. We got a spicy flavor, and then there's always a grits conversation where you want salt and pepper, you want some sugar. Yeah. So we have a sweet flavor. So these are really, really, and it's called Just Good Grits. And they'll be hitting the scene probably in another month or so. They'll be hitting the scene. We're gonna do a soft launch to see how it works out.
Well, I want to come taste the grits, but let me ask you this: are you salt and pepper or are you sugar?
You know what? I grew up doing sugar, but lately these spicy grits we got. I'm like, okay, there's nothing better than this. So we got one called Spicy Love. I'm telling you, there's nothing. This is off the chain.
Okay, I might try it just for you, but I'm definitely gonna give me some of them sugar grits. Okay, because that's what I grew up on. We'll be right back. This is Get Into It with Tammy Roman, and my guest Nephew Tommy is in the building. Y'all stick around. We'll be right back to Get Into It with Tammy Roman. Now I am here in case you missed the first half. Shame on you, because we talked about grits and everything. Here with the host of Ready to Love, the hit show on OWN, Nephew Tommy. Now let me ask you this, because you the relationship guy.
Okay.
And so I want to know, what's the common mistake that people make when dating?
You know what? Here lately, what I see, I think the biggest mistake is communication. Mm-hmm. Communication is just not there. I think the texting has gotten in the way. Any social outlets that we use, we don't use. I'm old fashioned, I guess. I think physically talking to somebody really does the trick, because you get the genuineness of it. I think people can, your text can be miscalculated sometimes. And, I don't feel the love in a text, but I feel it when I'm having a conversation or I'm talking, and it's organic. It just feels different. And communication, there's a lot, Tammy, there's a lot of people in relationships that are, you might hear your partner, mm-hmm. but you're not listening to your partner. And listening and hearing is two different things. Correct. A lot of people hearing, but a lot of folks ain't listening. So there's a difference between the two. And I think that happens, even myself. There's times where I might be sitting on the couch and my wife is talking, I hear her, but I ain't listening. You know what I mean? When you've been married longer than I have, you can fake it and to the point where, what? You kidding me? When did it happen? You know how to jump in, but you are not listening.
Yes. And people often, with communication, it's the way that you perceive what another person is saying, right? And I think when you say, what is the biggest obstacle in relationships, and people always say, well, communication. But I think it has to go further than that, because I think people don't know how to communicate properly. Even when you're listening, that still does not control how you understood what that person said. And I think people need to have a moment within their conversations and their communication where they repeat back, where they throw it back and say, I feel like I heard you say this. So the person can be, because sometimes it's like, no, that's not what I meant. You know, my husband and I do that. And he's like, no, that's not what I meant to say, you know.
Right. But you know what? But the fact that you and your husband continue to talk is how you get to it and find out, oh, okay, that's what you meant.
Right. You got to address things right in the moment. Do you like speed dating and online dating? Because I know that when we talk about things that are happening with relationships and communication and how social media is impacting the dynamic between interpersonal relationships and couples, but a lot of people are finding their mates online.
You know what? And that's good. That's good. But I think there's a lot of stuff that you haven't found, you know? So once you lock up with someone online, there's still a lot of learning to do. There's still a lot you have to explore within this person, because you know, these little emails and things you done online and so forth. What about when it's just we physically are here together? That is where the relationship has to grow. Because, I mean, we can't live online together.
Right. I've known some couples that are like consider themselves in full-fledged relationships and still haven't met. You advise against that.
I mean, but what's the purpose? When are we going to meet? When are we going to get to the physical of us being face-to-face on a daily basis? That's I don't know. I just can't live online like that.
He said, I just ain't good. I can't see it.
Yeah, I got to be able to feel this, understand this, and, you know, the physical, the being there, you know, I want to hear you. I want to hear your voice. I want to see you. Yeah. But for me to just shoot you a few emails or we communicating back and forth on whatever outlet it is, I just don't think it's enough. I don't think we're genuinely
realistic.
We're not getting all the way down to it. We're not.
Yeah. Around here at Fox Soul, we like to educate our soulmates, right, the viewers. And so I want to ask you, when you're on a date, what topics do you feel should be off limits?
I don't think sex should be an issue. I don't think we even need to discuss it. And then some people kind of trip on this one. I don't think on the first couple of dates that I do think it needs to come later. Finance. I don't think we have to discuss it.
I agree.
You know what I mean? But it is important. You know what I mean? You don't want to find out 6 months later you in debt for $200,000. Really?
Right.
You know? Yeah. So I think sex, financials, and that's about it. I mean, children, we can discuss it. Do we have them? Does each party have kids already? Or, you know, I don't think we need to have the discussion on, are you looking to have more kids until we know we further deep into this? Yeah,
I agree with you. I like all the things that you said, because I feel like from a female standpoint, that would scare, like that would scare me. Like if a man sat down with me and start talking about all that stuff, I'd be like, well, hold up, homie. We just trying to see if we even get along first, you know? So I think a lot of women are scaring men away, and I hate to use that verbiage, but it's like they're losing interest because you're thinking about marriage. They feel you thinking about marriage, and it's like we just got to dinner.
Man, let me tell you, it's the problem is that the first few dates, what makes a person push back is if the other person it comes in as if they're interviewing them.
You know, Tommy, now more than ever, and you know, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it because it's just not what I come from. But everybody's sexually fluid. You know, it's like it's so many letters now. You know, it's the queers, and then it's the people who said they binary, non-binary. It's so much stuff out here. But do you think that when you're interested in a person, when is the right moment to ask them what they're into sexuality-wise?
Wow, that's a good question. I think you have to ask that question. And that can be second or third date, but you got the rights to ask that. I mean, because that's where eventually where it's going to go. So you definitely want to know where they are sexually and what, you know, what have you been doing?
Right.
What are you into? I need to know that. We have to be compatible when it comes to that.
Yeah. So on the first couple of dates, don't necessarily talk about sex like in full detail, but you are allowed to just try to get a gauge on what a person is into from a sexuality standpoint.
I think so. I think you have every right to do that. I don't, as a male, I wouldn't want to sit down with a female and she thinks that that's the main thing on my mind. You know what I mean? So, because I want you to fall for me, on a whole nother level. I want you to be engulfed in my conversation, how I treat you, how I make you feel, not just, he trying to do this. Because that, if that was me, that wouldn't be my objective when I first sit down with you. I want to sit down and see if I got to fall in love with your mind first. Your mind is what's going to be important to me, because that's the sexy part.
Now, a lot of older women wrote in because they wanted to find out where you think there is potential for them to find love, because they say it's harder to date for them.
It is. Yeah. And you know what? I've been getting so many people that are in their late 50s and 60s that have been hitting me up. Tommy, let's have a, ready to love 60s.
Yeah.
And I feel them. I understand that they're looking for it. Where do you go to find it? That's pretty, that's a pretty broad question. I mean, because you don't expect the 60s to be hanging out at the nightclub. That's not their thing, you know. Then you start directing them to the church, and then you start directing them elsewhere, and it becomes difficult. Then this whole, like you were speaking of earlier, maybe that's when the whole online thing makes even more sense,
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you something, because I've been thinking about this, and maybe you can help your boy out. Do you think if I opened a dating app that it might be something beneficial?
Absolutely. The ready to love.
Well, I would do a different name, because I wouldn't want to. I don't know how much that name costs, Tammy.
Yeah. So a different brand.
Yeah.
Under the, as long as we know that it's you and it's affiliated with Nephew Tommy, so that the people feel like they're going to get that advice from you. I think that would be a great thing, because we look to you now as an authority in the relationship space. I mean, you've helped so many couples on, and if I help people find love on Ready to Love, that it's like, how to match people together and know what people should be looking for. I think that'd be an amazing opportunity.
That's what I need to hear, especially when I can create those categories. Here's people in their 40s, people in their 50s and 60s and so on. And these are people that are looking for love. And, I'm going to come up with a good name for it, but I'm just, I've been playing with it. Should I put a love app together and see what happens?
Absolutely. Because the Christians that's mangling on the Christian mangle, they ain't all the way Christian. They just so we don't want them. And plenty of fish, it's a lot of barracudas in there, and
exactly.
Nobody really trying to mess with them. So I feel like we do need an app where professionals can go and interact and meet people.
Right.
So we waiting on it. We're gonna be waiting on it.
Say no more. Okay. Say right behind those grits.
Yeah.
Will be a dating app.
You better come on with it. Listen, let me ask you this before we head out. Everybody has to compromise in a relationship, right? We understand that, and a lot of us are bringing baggage from one situation to the next. But where is the line drawn when it comes to compromising versus being taken advantage of?
Oh man, good question. I think people have to know the baggage that you're bringing to the relationship, and the expectations. So, you coming into a relationship, you got this baggage, and some people, to be honest with you, that mental baggage that they have, a lot of times it's been built up so much to where it has become a cancer, to the point where you have not released that yet, but now you're taking it to another relationship, and that's saying it's some women that got with some men, and guess what? They done brought all this from this last guy, from this last guy. And guess what? Now you're taking it out on this next person, and it has nothing to do with him. You still got luggage from the last cat. So the problem is that let's let this go, because this guy that you're on your way to does not deserve that. And we all, whether it's male or female, have brought that baggage to certain relationships. You're holding on to it, and guess what? It comes out in this next relationship like, oh my God, where did this come from? It's not fair to the next person who has done nothing. You got to clean the slate. But in order to clean the slate, you got to do some self-reflecting to make sure this is gone. Sometimes you need to take a break before you go into another relationship and get rid of this problem that you got, or whatever happened to you. You're scorned. You know, you've been bruised. I get it. But you're going to have to heal before you go somewhere else, because it's not fair to the next person. And I think we have to draw the line when you start bringing all of that to this next person, and who has done nothing, and now you're taking it out on them. You're still in the whatever problem you had in the past, you still got it because you have not healed. And
I agree. Amen. Before we let you go, Nephew Tommy, we do something around here called Tammy's Fast Five. I'll ask you 5 rapid fire questions, and you just give me the first answer that pops into your head. You ready?
Come on.
When was the last time you cried?
3 days ago.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
I'm a germaphobe.
What will we be surprised to know about you in the relationship space?
Oh God. I want it as much as I can get it.
What body part do you feel is the sexiest on your wife?
Her face.
Oh, Jacqueline, you got a good one. And so we always ask a sexual question around here. You and your wife, how many times a day do you have sex?
Ooh. When we on a roll, whoa, twice.
There it is. Twice. There it is, soulmates.
When we in Cabo next week, about 4 or 5 times a day.
Oh, I love it. Hey, Nephew Tommy, thank you for coming through. Get into it with Tammy Roman and joining me tonight. Now, soulmates, you need to make sure you check your local listings for when Ready to Love is set to air again, but it definitely comes on the OWN network. Nephew Tommy, how can everybody reach you?
You can reach me at thomasmiles.com or at Nephew Tommy, the Nephew Tommy EXP, the Nephew Tommy Experience EXP. But go to thomasmiles.com and go to my website. You can click on all the social media outlets, and you can see what I'm doing, where I'm booked. You can check out my foundation, Miles of Giving, where I give back to wounded veterans. Trying to do a whole lot, but check out my calendar. It's filling up because we back open.
Hey, woo, woo. Stick around, soulmates. You've got questions. I've got answers. Ask Tammy is up next on Fox Soul. Welcome back to Get Into It with Tammy Roman. It is time for Ask Tammy. This is the part of the show where I answer your video questions about all things that are going on in your life and give you advice. So let's take a look at the latest video.
My name's Linda. My son's a preteen, and I think he has a crush on this girl at school. Do you think it's okay to let them go on outings?
Hey, Linda. Well, girl, he got a crush on a girl. Because let me tell you something, my daughter likes the women's too. He's preteen. He's supposed to. He's supposed to want to go on dates. Okay, Linda? Now, they need to be chaperoned. I will say you can't just let them go out on their own. Okay, I'm not saying that. But I do think that he should be afforded the opportunity to have a little social activity and engagement as long as a parent is present and available. All right, you guys, that's all I got for you, Linda. You know, if you got a question, you need some advice, hit me up. Just do a 1 to 2 minute video. Email it to asktammy@foxsoul.tv, and I'll do my best to advise you because I'm full of gems. I really am. We're going to take a quick break, but the Power Minute is up next. Don't go anywhere.
Many of you post at a high level in your speech. Many of you text stuff you don't ever say. You find memes and you find stuff to post. Living my best life. It's never came out your mouth one day. We meet you and you're the most depressed person we ever met. But then when we scroll down your Facebook, everything is, I'm blessed and highly favored. Why can you post it but you can't speak it? So we got to change your speech because the enemy got you fooled thinking that because you posted that now it's done something, and heaven is saying, no, I don't read posts. I hear prayers. I hear cries. I hear speech. Don't expect me to copy a meme and bless you according to a meme that you found. I don't bless memes. I bless you. Thank God for your post. I'm so glad that you know how to go on Pinterest and find the best quote of the day. But if you don't have a quote in your mouth, it's never going to manifest in your life.
Brian Bullock, baby, you spoke a word, my brother. I don't read posts. I hear prayers, okay? If that didn't let you know what you need to know today, my people, okay? Like Brian said, we glad you know how to post a meme, but that is not what is going to make me bless you. Speak out of your mouth and send a word up. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. He not gonna see your Facebook page. Okay, you got to talk to the Heavenly Father. Amen. Won't he do it? Sure will. I'm telling you what I know. All right, Brian, I appreciate that message today. Soulmates, thank you for joining me and my special guest, Nephew Tommy. Thank you for stopping by. Make sure you guys watch Ready for Love over on OWN. I'll see you tomorrow with my special guest, Mimi Faust is in the building. Have a great evening. This is Get Into It with Tammy Roman on Fox Soul. Stay tuned. Book of Sean is up next.